So this is a content creator named Saeed. This is what he looks like. I am not aware of his content or really who he is. From my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, he is the assistant to one of the guys on the FaZe Clan. And the FaZe Clan, from my limited understanding, is a group of boys on the internet who are quite, well, they don't have the best reputation, and they have been caught in a plenty of scandals, and they're just not the greatest group of people, from my understanding. It's not the bubble I'm used to. I don't know that much about them. I just know their name more or less. And I also know recently, if I'm not mistaken, some of the leftists on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube have sort of wanted to make peace with the FaZe Clan. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Hassan and Cutie are two of those people that come to mind about them trying to build bridges with people to give them a chance, because apparently some of these boys, sometimes like an XQC can show promise. You know, when we remember when we watched XQC getting to a debate with the Manosphere Red Pill guys about gay people and trans people, and it's like, yay. Okay, so obviously that's the bottom tier level of acceptability. Like the bar literally is in hell, and I understand that, right? We're raised in a racist, homophobic society. I'm not just saying this because it's like fun to say. It's literally true, and so we are impacted by our environments. And so because we lived under a patriarchy, when Saeed or somebody who looks like Saeed is assaulted by women, it's often dismissed. And it's dismissed because men are told you are stronger than women, you are smarter than women, women can't control you, they can't rape you, they can't assault you because you are a man. And this is why we have to deconstruct gender, because no matter your gender, no matter what you look like, no matter how strong you are physically, you can be a victim of sexual assault. So before we get into Saeed telling his story, I need to show you the videos. So just a trigger warning here. If you've ever been in this position, you know how overwhelming it can feel. Saeed might be smiling in these clips, but he is not smiling from joy. He's smiling from anxiety. In my opinion, he is stressed. From my understanding of his own story afterwards, he is not happy. Okay, so we have to take that into consideration, that victims may look a particular way, but that doesn't mean that's the internal monologue in their head. And that's what's so difficult about living in a world that is not educated, that is unlearned, that does not understand things, that doesn't have that isn't a reader, right? We're not readers. We don't understand that victims don't always look the same, that you can't decide, oh, this person's not a victim because they're smiling. That's not right. Okay. So here we go. Here are the videos. Tell me what you think. Here's the first one.
Now they got it.
Take all of this off. Take it off. Hey, yo, cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Yo, cut the cameras, bros. Don't do your. Look at my Louis Vuitton scarf. Hold on. No outside clothes on the bed. Hold on. What's going on?
You can't just forcibly take it.
Get that bag. Get that bag. This is a nice bag. Hold on, this is a nice bag.
Yo,
how much this cost? Turn around. No. Start with the side.
Yo. What? Yo,
Oh, I need this. I needed this. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Zoe, he's not consenting.
Huh?
He's not consenting.
Yes,
Yo, that's my bag, bro. No.
Can I have it?
No, you can't have my bag.
Yeah. Wait, I need to get the out of the bag. What? You have it.
Yo, what is happening? Yo.
Okay, so there's two girls involved, right? And I don't know, chat saying, is this one of the people from Drewski's dating show? I'm not sure, but Drewski also has a bad reputation. Kai has a bad reputation. As much as like I'd like to, in another universe, root for Kai, he hangs out with way too many predators. And there is, I believe one of these girls, if I'm not mistaken, was also invited to Kai's university, his streamer university. So just with peace and love, this bubble and anybody associated with it, huge red flag. I'm like, you built your reputation. It is what it is. They are immature. They are very much not consent-based. They're certainly not progressive. They're definitely not thinking about, you know, that this isn't just for lulz. There's a lot of layers here. So as much as these are very successful people, their success comes at the expense of their community members, okay? Yeah, the chat said her name is Nina. So there's Nina, who's the Asian lady, and then what did he call the black lady? I don't remember her name. Hold on, let me see. Let me see. Hold on.
He's not.
Zoe and Nina. Okay, Zoe and Nina. Those are their names. Okay, so here's another video. Okay, the original video of Nina Lynn holding down Saeed while Zoe Spencer was forcing herself on him. Imagine if the roles were reversed. I just want to, that's what the chat said. That's what the thing says. I just want to say this. It is very reductive and bad thinking to say if the roles were reversed, because you cannot reverse the roles under patriarchy. The roles being reversed under patriarchy doesn't allow us to actually understand what's happening. Women under patriarchy are taught men cannot be raped. We have been taught this our whole life because you have convinced us we can't hurt you, because you have been told if a woman hurts you, you're weak. So women under patriarchy are literally convinced, just like men are convinced, men cannot be harmed by assault. Remember that the first group of people who started to advocate for men as sexual victims have been women over the years. It has been women. And so ultimately, like, it took men so long to get on board with thinking of men as victims. So you have to remember that you have to really think about this context in relation to patriarchy. So this whole idea of like, imagine if the roles were reversed. What roles? The women are doing exactly what patriarchy trained them to do. Patriarchy trains you to be a predator, but they refuse to call themselves that because we think predatory behavior has to be solely intentional. Like I have to intend to pick on you, but we know that's not true, right? Okay, here we go. Here, another video, trigger warning.
But she always on them.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Saeed. Hey, come here. I got you. Saeed, come here.
Joey, you can't. Joey, you can't.
23.
No.
He's consensual.
No, he's not consenting.
Yes, he is.
He's not even saying nothing.
He likes it. Yeah, give.
Oh, nah.
I don't think he wants to.
Yeah, stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there. Hold on. Hold on. Sit down.
Yo.
Okay, sit down. Sit down.
You about me?
I'm so angry for him. Allegedly, he's also autistic. I don't know if that's true, but I'm very upset for him. I'm so upset that this behavior is normalized. We understand it's not the twerking, it's not the dancing. That's the problem. It's the lack of consent. Okay? What's the difference between rape and consensual sex? The consent. It's not the sex part. Nobody has the problem with sex. Nobody has problem with twerking. Nobody has problem with goofing on your friends. It's the consent. He isn't consenting. And if you've ever been in this position, I have in my life, when you are the most afraid, when you are the most like out of breath and being held down, you ever been tickled so hard you think you're dying and your siblings keep tickling you anyways? You're laughing, but you're dying inside. You literally feel like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it out alive. Okay. You know, if you know, it is the worst feeling in the world to have people keep going because they think you're enjoying it when you're literally dying inside. You're literally terrified you're going to die and you can't communicate it because you're laughing. That's what I think is happening to Saeed. I think he cannot communicate what's happening. And so people are, you know, okay, so now here is, it says, more resurfaced footage of Zoe Spencer and Nina Lynn harassing Silky's assistant. Silky is one of the guys. Saeed is resurfacing. Nina held down Zoe, danced on him while he was clearly uncomfortable. Here's the third video.
Why my boyfriend here? Why my boyfriend here? He didn't even say hi. Boyfriend!
So she's running after him. He's running away.
Boyfriend!
Now, I know exactly this dynamic. I've been in friend groups all of my life. I've gone from friend group to friend group trying to find my people. And I've been in this friend group where the girls and the boys or people feel entitled to the sort of meek, the sort of sweet, the sort of like laid back kind of personality where like they chase them, they tackle them, they like, let me touch you, they feel entitled. And I'm not saying, you know, a lot of us are guilty of thinking this is what people want. This is how we're trained to think people want things, especially if you're autistic like I am. I was trained my whole life to think that like men wanted you to be forward because that's how men were. And though that can be true in certain like bubbles, how you pursue that forwardness is really like something you should deconstruct, right? We have to deconstruct, you know, what does it mean to be bold and what does it mean to be forward and what does it mean to be consent forward? Like that's why I say informed consent is the superior form of consent. Not just consent itself, may I kiss you, but informed consent, may I kiss you, P.S. I just had a herpes breakout, is that okay? It's like you're allowing the person to really understand what they're consenting to versus the lack of consent which these girls are displaying, which is like consent is unnecessary. There is no consent, which is usually what the boomers raised us believing, that a man didn't need consent from a woman to grab her and kiss her. But every man seems to know what consent is when a man tries to grab him and kiss him. Interesting, right? So that's why we have to deconstruct these roles, why we have to deconstruct our patriarchal beliefs, why we have to deconstruct our pick-me-isms, because ultimately, like, this isn't just a meme. It's a serious, like, psychological, like a brainwashing almost, like cultural upbringing that teaches us the way to be in these kinds of groups, especially because we have to consider the fact that these are also two women in a group of primarily men. And so they themselves are going to play into needing to show up for the boys, needing to prove they're good enough to be with the boys, right? So there's definitely layers to this, you know, and not to mention, these are all people of color. That plays into, and they're rich and they're famous and they run the internet the way they run. So we have to think about all the layers of racism, of sexism, of misogyny, of patriarchal beliefs, like money. All of these things are got to play a role. And I know that sounds really complicated, but that's why we take one step at a time of deconstruction. Imagine it's a cobweb and you're just slightly moving the cobwebs like apart and you're trying to understand it, because nothing here is as clear or black and white as you think it is. Everything happened for a reason. Everything that's happening in these videos didn't just start here in this bubble. They were taught to them. They were raised this way. They were told this is normal. They read it from media. They saw it in media, right? And then now, get this is the media your kids are watching. So they are now the media your kids are watching, and your kids are watching rape media, basically. Sexual assault media. That's why I say it's in our culture. It's not one group's responsibility. It's all of our responsibilities. If you really look to your family history, you'd realize it is not as pretty and it is quite embarrassing. And God knows you probably don't even want to talk about it. Sometimes I really wish I didn't have to acknowledge all of the bullshit in my family or even my own past. But the truth is like we are raised in these bubbles and it will never be fixed. We will never heal unless we talk about it. We've got to talk about how fucked up our lives are in order to hopefully help a future generation, right? Okay.
Boyfriend.
What a socks guy.
He ran away.
What's how you go?
He ran away.
Why did he run away?
Because I was trying to give him a dance last night. And
I'm gonna hold him down. You do it.
okay. She said she gonna hold him down. Saeed, come.
And I mentioned that he might be autistic because of the ableism perspective as well, right? So when you're autistic, right, you want to hang out with the guys, you want to do the thing, you want to show up, but you don't want to talk about your sensory issues. You don't want to talk about how uncomfortable you are. You're autistic to the point where you don't even like the sensation of kissing because you have sensory overload and people are like, wow, that's gay. Oh my God, you don't like kissing girls. That's gay. You know, who knows how many layers are playing here? How many things need to be deconstructed and understood? But more than anything, yes, chat says, I'm gonna hold him down. The biggest part we have to pay attention to is the fact that the girls have to hold him down for him to engage. So it's definitely non-consensual. It's like not even a question. Chet says there's that kind of energy when you're a young man talking to your community aunties and they don't run after you, but they make small jokes like hello fiance. That's interesting. I don't know that bubble, but is that sort of like what she means by boyfriend? You're my boyfriend. Is that what she's trying to say? She's trying to like take she's so much like, you know when older people look at young like little kids, not young men, little kids, and they go, oh, you're gonna be a great husband one day, or like you just like you know you're so cute, or like when the little girls marry their dads, which I am not from those bubbles, right? Sometimes I'll see videos on the internet of like little girls having fake weddings with their dads. I did not grow up in that bubble. That is not a bubble I grew up in. So it's like a different perspective. But even I did grow up in the bubble that, oh, he'll be such a lady killer. Oh, she's going to make such a good wife. And they're like 5 years old. I'm like, can you just, okay? Can we not talk? Like, you know, and I've engaged in that behavior myself. You know, that's how you compliment kids. Like, oh, she's going to be so beautiful one day. you know, all of that stuff. So we have to talk about that as well. It's like, man, we really, even when kids have barely even started their lives, have already decided where they're headed. Yep. Chet says there was a 90s ad in Canada promoting exercise by showing a boy outrunning girls trying to catch and kiss him. There you go. There you go. Okay, back to the video.
Oh my God, you're the girl Saeed been saying so much about.
He has his.
Yeah.
You've been talking about me.
Get him. Get him.
Baby face need a barber. He do need a barber though.
With the kids, the kids, the kids.
Saeed, get him. Go ahead.
Okay, right? Disgusting, horrible. I hate it. It's just awful. It's just awful. Okay, I really hate it. Now, Nina is the Asian lady. She came out with a video of her basically apology. I'm going to 1.2 everything, guys, because you know how we do it here. We are neurodivergent and we like it to be at a pace our brains can understand. So I'm not rushing through this for any other reason than that. This is her alleged apology. And then we're going to watch Saeed because of the timing that these came out. This came out a day before his video, from my understanding. Then we're going to watch his statement on the whole event. It's a really rough watch. So get ready. A lot of mental health. He really struggled. I mean, this is really bad. It's really bad. Like, it's not a joke. There's nothing funny about this. Okay, so here's Nina with her alleged apology.
I want to let you guys know why everybody's still in the goddamn room, bro. To all my supporters, to all my followers, to all the people supporting me from every single app, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, motherfucking, I don't know what the fucking apps, bitch, fucking Red Notebook. Shout out CCP, bro. I want to let y'all know, thank you so much for loving me, bro. Thank you so much for always showing me love, supporting me in the fucking chat, bro. Thank you so much for always having mad patience for me. And this whole thing, y'all know exactly what situation I'm talking about. This whole thing just made me realize, bro, that I gotta do better. I gotta do better as a person. I got people supporting me. I got people looking up to me, and I gotta do better, bro. And if things happen, you know, instead of just wondering if it's really wrong or not, I'm just gonna go up there and say, yo, bro, that was my fault. And I'm very sorry for traumatizing you. But at the same time, we're gonna give the boys some room. Reached out to him personally, done everything. I've apologized, you know, as sincerely as I can. Also, if he wants to talk off stream, I totally get it, bro. That's exactly what I want for him as well, too, because that's probably more comfortable for him, you know? Whatever's more comfortable, honestly. Hope he's doing okay. Shout out you, Saeed. Generally sorry about everything I've done to you. And I'm always open to talk. If you don't want to talk, up to you. Everything's your comfort level. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to force you to do nothing. And shout out to everyone that's supporting him right now. Even though they're coming after me, I don't give a fuck. I think it's good. I think he has a good support system. I think he should have that. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that now he's finally vocal about it. I'll be honest. I truly had no clue. Bro, no joke. I had no clue. But now that I know, we got to fix the issue. You know what I mean? It's not even about content. It's not about how people think about me. I never give a fuck what people think about me. From the day I did social media to now, I never give a fuck what no one can think about me, bro. Genuinely, bro. Genuinely. This is not for content. Then me saying this shit is not to get bonus points, bitch. Genuinely, I hope he's doing okay. I really do. And yeah, that's it. I love you guys so much, bro. I hope everyone has a good night.
Okay. We have not seen Zoe apologize as far as I can see. I have not heard anything from Zoe. That might be outdated. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen it. Just Nina has been able to make a statement. The statement isn't great. And again, this plays into, you know, do you embody an understanding of the apology? I think as social media people, we just perform so much that we don't know how to ground our voices. And I think this is what's hurting all of our communities, is this isn't entertainment anymore. We're talking about serious things, okay? We're going to talk about this again tomorrow with other content creators, but this is why I can't listen. If you are not going to get vulnerable, I can't be vulnerable with you, right? So this is why Saeed coming forward was so impactful, because he's deeply vulnerable in this next video I'm going to show you. He's very grounded. He's talking very vulnerably. He's really impacted. And so this is, you know, this is such an important part of it, because, you know, I'm going to talk about this again tomorrow, but like, this reminds me of like when Trisha Paytas talks about the fact that she's been kidnapped. She goes, yeah, I've been kidnapped. It's not funny. I'm sick of people laughing about their trauma in a stage in which we need to be talking about it seriously. There is a space in which you can laugh about your trauma, but maybe not in every single time. Can we please be serious? Are you seriously telling me you were like, you know, essayed. Can we be serious about the conversation? Because I'm just sick of us turning our assaults into entertainment. And I think we do it because we're not healed and we're coping, right? We're so wounded, we make a joke out of everything that's painful to us. And so people can't be vulnerable with us because we're making it into a joke, so they're going to make it into a joke. There's nothing funny about our assaults. I understand there are situations in which people turn their pain into humor. Fine. It's not one of those moments. And so for her to come out with this apology, Nina, and to start off with a shout out, like my chat said, exactly. Why are we starting off your apology about traumatizing somebody with shout out to the gang? Shout out to my chat. Like, ma'am. Okay. Inappropriate. Not funny. Okay. Here's Saeed telling his side of the story. This is his Twitch channel. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and full screen it. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, and I put out 1.25 because once again, we're neurodivergent here and that's how we understand and process information. Here we go.
I'll say this first. For the people that think that I'm going to use this for like any sort of type of like clout or anything like that, I disabled all ads on the stream.
The fact, hold on.
I don't care about.
The fact that he disabled ads on the stream is bullshit. If anyone should be getting paid, it's SA victims. Second, the fact that he even had to preface this with anyone who thinks I'm using this for clout is rape culture. The people who should be getting paid the most are rape victims, are SA victims, or anyone who's been hurt in this way. Out of all the people in the world who should have their ads on and deserve to have their ads on, it's him. So the fact that he has to, because of the culture, disable ads so people take him seriously is bullshit. Victims should get paid because God knows this is the only way they're going to see any form of justice anyways, right? So no, I think he should have kept those ads on because he deserves to get paid. Second, I hate that he even has to say this because culture won't let him just say his piece. He has to then prove he's a victim, even though we all saw the videos. Okay, here we go.
Money, I don't care about anything like that. Made sure to disable all the ads because people will think that I'm trying to find some type of way to make this situation something. Like, I don't know. As you know, in February, some things did happen on the stream. And I didn't handle it properly. I mean, I did talk about it briefly, and I just didn't want to deal with it more because certain people reacting to certain ways.
I am sorry. I'm so upset for him that he's already starting this story off with I didn't handle it in the best way. I'm already going to cry. Oh, there is no right way to, in the moment especially, handle and have a good reaction to your own assault. That is the narrative that is rape culture. That victims of assault should then have to perform perfectly after they've been traumatized. Okay.
I have logs of multiple things talking about it, and I'll show all of them, and I will come out about past experiences where this has affected me a lot. Back when it originally happened, it was, I'm not going to show the video because it does still make me weirded out a lot. But originally when it happened, one of my friends reached out to me because I went live to get my mind off of it. And wait 1 second. They asked me why I didn't stream, and I said people are just reading my mood. And I said I was at the bottom of the barrel. And honestly to God, it was doing a lot towards me. And the reason why.
So just to be clear, I know he talks very softly. I've got my volume all the way up. It might be hard to hear him, and there's no closed captions for this stream on his end, so I can't show you that. But it says he's showing us messages from February 2025. Okay, why you end stream? Somebody asked. He said people are just ruining my mood. He said I just want to blow my brains out. He said I am at the bottom of a barrel right now, and the person replying said, "You good, bro? What the fuck?" Okay.
I didn't say anything about it on stream or anything like that. I've dealt with something like this before, and I didn't want to. When I dealt with it originally, I was working at a job, and it was a gym, and I told my boss about it, and all he did was make jokes about it.
I'm sorry. Wait, what? I'm rewinding it.
And I told my boss about it. I was working at a job. I've dealt with something like this before.
Oh, so
And
this isn't the first
I didn't
time.
want to. When I dealt with it originally, I was working at a job, and it was a gym. And I told my boss about it, and all he did was make jokes about it.
Oh, so he's saying he's been like assaulted before, and he told his boss and they laughed at him, which is not very uncommon, you know? So again, I'm going to have to pull us out and bring us back to patriarchy. I shared this TikTok on stream a few weeks back, right? It was a black man talking about how patriarchy hurts boys because men feel entitled to soft boys' bodies, to passive boys' bodies, to young boys' bodies, young boys like children, that Saeed might fall into, and this is me just trying to figure it out, right? If he falls into that category where men don't respect him because he's, quote, weak, so they think he deserves it when he's assaulted, which wouldn't be uncommon in some of the bubbles that I knew about growing up, where men feel like there is this trope, this stereotype of a type of man who believes like real men aren't ever assaulted. And so if you ever complain about it, right, you deserve it, or worse, you should get assaulted so it turns you into a man. These narratives exist. I know we pretend that they don't, but they're real, and our boys are suffering because of them. Okay, back to the video.
And I tried to talk about it a lot more, and I didn't want to tell my parents. And it did affect me a lot. And this situation did bring back those memories. And it was hard to move past it originally. I went ahead and talked to my friend about it. I said that.
Sorry, I just realized his face had been blocked out because of my queer flag in my chat. So I just wanted to move it up a little bit. I'll read for you guys what it says. It says, I shouldn't have turned on stream because it just made it worse. Yeah, everybody needs that time and space. I'm not sure what the situation is, but honestly, never let someone else's opinion affect you if it goes against your morals and values. Saeed says, the reason why the whole situation was like bad for me, because I was sexually assaulted 2 or 3 years ago by a gay man and nearly R-worded. Jesus. So somebody replied, what the fuck? I'm so sorry that happened to you. Saeed says, yeah, that's why I got my mods to just ban the term because I don't want to talk about it. Just a weird situation. Then this person says, do you feel a certain way about it now? Or are you still healing from it? Saeed said, well, it's opened up past thoughts during that time. Person replies and says, I feel like you're really just going through it right now, today specifically, or these past few days. Have you been mentally burdening? Have been very mentally burdening? Saeed says, yeah, it happened 2 days in a row. Just need to like mentally reset. Okay, damn. Okay, here we go.
Personally, I was sexually assaulted 2 to 3 years ago by a gay man. And I had my mods ban all the terms.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to deal with having to read all the messages. I would have people coming to my chat saying literally the worst things. And people would go around and everything, and I just didn't want to deal with that at all. And then I said I was depressed for the last 3 days.
He said, his friend said, what's the biggest problem right now? Mental state, question mark. Saeed said, yes. Friend says, how do you feel? Saeed says, last 3 days I was depressed but it'll probably fix when I get home because I just need to see my brother and cat. I'll probably feel mentally refreshed after that. Okay.
I don't know. I just, ever since that, this whole thing resurfaced, like every single time it resurfaces, it just takes a toll on me, and I just don't want to talk about it just because of that. And like, the main thing for me is like, I don't want my parents to see it and then have them like break down over it. Because I did later on tell my parents about the sexual assault, and my mom ended up crying.
You know what though? I got to be real. That's beautiful that he was able to tell his parents and his mother cried for him. That's beautiful. I can't tell you what a privilege it is to have a parent cry for you. It really is so beautiful. Like in the nice, like I wish that for every victim that when you tell people cry for you. That's really beautiful.
For a whole month and felt like it was her fault.
Ugh, that's sad when the mother or the father internalizes it as their fault. It's not their fault. It's not Saeed's fault. It's the responsibility and the burden of the predator to take upon themselves to carry the weight of what they did to this person and how they harmed not just Saeed, but his family and friends. When we harm people, we're not just harming in isolation. That harm carries on. You know, we talked about this the other day, and just to make sure people understand, victims of SA don't go on to be predators. Victims of SA often go on to be people who isolate, can't form good relationships, struggle, need therapy, as we all do need therapy, right? All of us need therapy, but especially if you've been violated in such a way, it's really recommended to talk to a professional, even if it's just a session or two, just to get it off your chest in a safe space, right? And that's why we want to harm reduce, because every amount of harm we inflict on the universe, it just goes out and spreads. Okay? All right, back to the video.
And I'm like, yesterday I got a call from my IRL, and she did talk to me about it, and I didn't expect it to reach the public like that, because I thought it would just stay in its circle, and it didn't stay in the circle. And
Oh, great point from chat. Says it's nice to hear them empathize, but when my mom said she felt responsible, I had to do emotional labor to make her feel okay and not guilty. So it's good both and hard. And actually, that's a great point, chat. Like when our parents put us in a, when any of us put anyone in a position to share something vulnerable, and then to kind of you make it about you, because you know you're impacted. Like parents are impacted by the harm their kids experience, and yet in that moment you can't make your kid, who's already been victimized, then do the emotional labor to comfort you, because that's often why they don't tell you. If you grow up with parents like I did, we often want to protect our parents when it should be the other way around. And that's why I've been moving so aggressively with elders in the community and saying, you have got to stop making it so the kids are more responsible protecting the adults and the adults are protecting the kids. Because that's what it is. Don't tell your grandma she's old. Don't tell your mom she's old. Don't tell your grandpa he's old. Well, okay. Who's supposed to be the one in charge then? Because you want the responsibility and you want to be the elder. You want to be the person I can't talk back to. You want to be the person that I have to go to, but also I can't go to you with everything. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, going back.
it was very hard to hear my IRL say that she wanted me to tell her. And I think that really, like, I was just depressed all day yesterday, and I did not want to talk to anyone. And then when it was resurfacing, I ended up deactivating my Twitter account because I just didn't like, I was already dealing with something.
It says, ended up deactivating my Twitter since people are bringing up me being sexually assaulted by another streamer. That's just too much going on. I need a break. There's just too much going on. I need a break. Okay. And that was October. That was just now, October 18th. He posted that.
And, you know, the subathon and everything. I didn't want to read more messages about people saying, like, what's going on isn't, like, it doesn't matter. Like, people were just putting it down over and over again. And there were some people that were actually, like, I will give credit to YBG. And I did thank him afterwards, because I just didn't want it to be as large, because it would just ruin my mood completely, and it was just altogether very bad. And then there's a point where I thought I should just step away from the subathon, because I didn't want to deal with putting other people down. And I did have a conversation with other people. They said it wouldn't bring them down. And there was, like, other situations on this. There are other situations on this. Well, this wasn't, like, the only thing. The thing is, I smile because like I was like nervous, and I just like I'm not a streamer, so I don't know like I don't know the things that a streamer should know, and so people are just say like, oh, why are you smiling? It's like my coping mechanism, and like
Very common coping mechanism. Again, I go back to the example I gave earlier, like when your siblings tickling you and you're dying and you can't breathe, but then you're laughing, so they think you're in on it, but you're not in on it. That's why we have to have safe words. You know, that's why you have to have safe signals. You know, that's why the people engaging with you also have to be able to hold themselves back. But we are, and this is what's so difficult for everyone to remember. I need you to zoom out and remember we are biological creatures. Why do we encourage introspection, extrospection here? Because we know unchecked, we are unsafe beings. We're unsafe. We need to check ourselves because all of us are capable of being unsafe because of our biological experience. So we have to have a deeper relationship if we want a better society with ourselves. So we can, when our friends are begging us to stop, hear it and stop. So we can actually make it a safe space for people. Okay, back to the video.
there's this one right here that obviously like there are multiple other things that people are showing now, and I literally run away here.
We watch these
I literally
videos.
run away here, and I'm getting chased down the whole time. And this is the part where they literally just hold me down again and do it.
Horrible.
Basically, I didn't want this whole thing to have an outcome like this. I mean, I did want it to, like, them being banned is not really anything to me because at the end of the day, like, sexual assault is a crime, and people that say that it's not sexual assault, I don't know what you think sexual assault is or anything like that, but I don't know what to tell you. Like, as a person that's literally dealt with sexual assault previously, it has taken a lot, like a large total on my head. And even when I tweeted out this, it did take a lot out of me not to do anything, because I do have a history of suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And that day I was alone, and I just didn't want to, like, I just sat there and thought to myself over and over again. And even this morning I did wake up. I mean, I'm grateful for having friends and stuff like that, and they did reach out to me just to make sure I'm okay. But it did take a lot out of me to sit down and talk about this. And like, people that blame other like streamers for not doing anything, they did do stuff. I've had conversations with multiple other streamers, and they did offer me solutions, and I didn't take them because I just didn't think the outcome would happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Thank you for everybody that spoke out for me, and you know, people that still do defend me. I don't want to make it a situation where people are saying it's misogyny or anything like that. When I didn't, like, I don't want it to be a whole thing where it's like misogyny or anything like that, or like incels or anything like that. I just want it to be where it's just like, you can believe a person no matter, you know, what's going on. I mean, people don't believe this even though there's like physical evidence out there. But yeah. Thank you, everybody, and I mean, it was a very short explanation. I will be taking time to deal with it myself, and I'll obviously try and work on being more vocal about it, and I really hope that people learn from this and try and understand, like, other people can deal with stuff like this, and you probably don't even know. And the thing that hurt me the most was when they said I should be embarrassed, that I'm probably embarrassed.
Okay, that's the end of that video. Can you guys explain to me? I'm going to show you the clip he means about them calling him embarrassed. What did he mean? He doesn't want to hear that it's like misogyny or something. I'm not sure what that means. Like, does he mean that people are going to go after the women because it's misogyny, or did he mean something else? I'm not sure what that means.
You never think
Let me pull up this clip for you. This is Nina. This is the clip he's referencing about people saying that he would be embarrassed.
about what Saeed. You never think about what Saeed's thinking too, though. Like, who wants to walk around being called that? That's embarrassing for him as a guy. You never think about what Saeed.
So I didn't see the full clip. This is the only clip I've seen going around saying like, you know, that's embarrassing for him as a guy, which actually does play into pretty typical patriarchal bubbles in which like men are sort of embarrassed to be victims of assault, right? FYI, the comments on this video are like, if the roles were reversed, this guy would have been in jail yesterday. That's not true. It's never been true. And we know that's not true. That's the problem with the world. That's not true. No matter the gender, victims of sexual assault almost never get justice. Almost never get justice under patriarchy because y'all make every excuse possible for a man's behavior or a sexual predator's behavior. Oh, if it's a woman, well, women can't really rape you. She's not even strong like that. If it's a man, oh, but is this girl making false accusations? So this narrative, we have got to get away from it, that in any world, victims ever get justice. They do not. And like Saeed said, even with camera evidence, we're not going to believe victims. And it happens all the time, everywhere. Even when we covered the DoorDash girl and it was on camera, we saw what happened. People ran with it, twisted the story, went against her, spread, you know, malicious rumors about her, did all these things. Even when it's on camera, we don't care. And even when it's on a camera, we can't even know because we're all confused about what we call what. Chad says, I think he meant not, don't turn this into a misogynist, or don't turn into misogynist as a result of coming to his defense. Oh, like, don't be anti-women just to defend him. Okay. So pause. Thank you to Saeed for sharing his story, for being a voice, for the voiceless, for being vulnerable, and just, you know, this is so important. The same groups of men that I have seen come out in his defense are the same groups of men that promoted Trump, that are misogynists on the internet, that hate women, right? So again, do we care about victims of assault, period? Or just when it matches our narratives? Okay, all assault is bad, even when it happens to bad people. And this is another layer of complicated stuff because we believe there is a group of people who believe in the world that you deserve bad things to happen to you. And I'm saying nobody deserves bad things to happen to them. Nobody deserves evil. We simply have to have a deeper relationship with ourselves to move away from that evil, that philosophical evil, right? Super chat, Silvano, thank you so much, says, question off topic. I want to ask, is it possible to say philosophically progressive and at the same time pursuing a career in economics, business, and marketing? Can you still uplift marginalized communities? Well, you know, tying it into this conversation, actually, this is exactly the problem with what's happening. These are capitalistic streamers trying to get the most views possible at the expense of the people around them. Yes, you can still go into these fields. You can still want to build a business, but it usually will come at the expense of your dollar bill, because at the end of the day, the things that go the most viral, the things that benefit the people the most are things that are disgusting. So the question is, you know, how do you build a career in these bubbles without selling out the community, without it coming at the expense of the people around you, right? That's what's important. Chat says, sort of related, have you heard of Lily Allen and David Harbour's situation? Yeah. Did you hear that he cheated on her, David Harbour, Lily Allen? She comes out with a anthem for girls, and then we find out she actually sexually assaulted, what's her name? Look at this. Let me show you. This is exactly what I'm talking about sexual assault culture. Okay. This is exactly what I'm saying. Oh my gosh. Wait, do I not have the clip? And yes, just look at Trump. This is what I'm saying. It's all connected. Trump, all these people, like at the end of the day, this is so much more than you can even understand. Zoe Kravitz was assaulted by Lily Allen. And Lily Allen is being praised as this like great, amazing woman because a man cheated on her. But then look at this.
Hi, Andy. My question is for Zoe. I was wondering if Lily Allen warned you that she was going to write about the two of you kissing in her autobiography, and how did that come about?
Who's Lily Allen?
She's the voice of a generation, by the way.
I guess she didn't warn you.
No, you don't.
Okay, I don't know.
Oh.
Right.
Lovely, Leanne.
Okay. So
If by kissing she means like attacking, then yes. She kissed me.
Oh.
I don't like Leanne.
She
Attacked me.
So, but is that how she portrayed it in the book? No. No. It was portrayed else like
I wanted it.
Right. Oh wow. Okay. So you weren't thrilled. Did you read the book?
I don't think anybody read the book.
Okay. Shanji needs her fan. Shanji needs her fan. Okay. Let's go to Betsy from Arizona.
You know, there's just like this really horrible thing happening in the world. Again, we want to dismantle the patriarchy, right? We don't want to live in a world where the opposite is the answer. So you know how men will go, if this was opposite, if the roles were reversed, we don't want to reverse the roles, right? I think I'm a little confused, I suppose, like of what we think that, like, you know, when they were promoting like Gila Klein and all these, like, in that Jewish actress who was like an Israeli soldier, and they're like, this is feminism, being a soldier for the IDF. That's not the answer either. The answer isn't we want women to be kick-ass mercenaries. The answer is we want a world without mercenaries. The world should be deconstructing away from violence, not towards violence. Like, liberation isn't giving women guns. Liberation is freeing the world from needing them. Deconstruct gender roles. That's what we want more than ever. So I don't want to, you know, I don't want conversations like this one to be had around Saeed or anybody else to be weaponized against groups of people. We should not be weaponizing our knowledge. We should be freeing and liberating people with our knowledge. Okay? That's why we care about victims. So again, on this channel here, we might say things like, man, you know, men, am I right? But what we mean is people trained under patriarchy who think their whole identity of being a man doesn't allow space for them also being victims of sexual assault. Because remember, as long as you believe men are inherently tough, born to be leaders, it means that people who aren't men are born to be less than that. And I don't believe anyone is born to be less, period. No one is born to be less, right? Okay. Let's see. I think we're done here. So this is Saeed's channel. If you guys want to go check out his Twitch channel or check the video out itself, I'll go ahead and link it in the chat just in case. But he said he's not a streamer. So I think this was just kind of a one-off. He's an assistant. You know, he's an assistant to the FaZe clan, which even that is questionable. That's the thing. How did Saeed find himself engaging with this bubble? It's such a toxic bubble. What led somebody like him into this bubble? That's what we need to deconstruct as well. What is even good about this bubble? What is even healthy about this bubble?